How much do you know about K-food? How much handshake have you eaten?
We invite you into the world of Korean food, of course, including the history and culture of it.
We'll introduce trendy foods and famous restaurants on Dish of the Day with
Chef Ryan Phillips.
That's right, it's Chef's Day on a Tuesday, and I am so hungry that I think I could eat a horse, or maybe today I should say a pig, in relation to what we are going to be talking about. Shall we say, what is Ryan doing? I think he was wafting over the scent of today's dish. And I'm looking forward to having it. Although, 10 a.m. is not the usual time you would have what we're going to eat.
Yeah, it's
today.
a little spicy too.
Before we jump into it, have you had a good week since we last saw you? Did the big South African event on the weekend?
Yeah, man. Thanks for asking. It was awesome. We had a lot of South Africans turn up, and their comments on the food just made it for me. Because we did a Durban lamb curry, and a gentleman from Durban and his Korean wife were just blown away. Like, how'd you know how to do this? I was like, well, I don't know. I think I got lucky.
Durban famous for lamb curry?
There is a dish called Durban lamb curry that's famous across South Africa.
Okay.
Then another one that's called pickled fish, but really it's like a fish curry that has a vinegar element to it.
Ooh.
And we took a whole flounder, like a giant whole flounder.
Wow.
Took the bones out, but left the fish whole. It's an old school thing I've been doing for years. And then fried it in our cornmeal, and then pour this curry over the top. And people, and I've never tried this dish before in my life, and I'd never made it before.
Wow.
And folks were just like, you nailed it. And all the others, there's so much food.
How did you know how to do it and the recipes and stuff?
Some friends from South Africa that inspired us to put the event together, we met and discussed things. That particular dish, they didn't get to taste in advance. Some of the dishes, I was like, here, try this. Am I on point? Like the apricot chutney. I really wanted that to be perfect for them. And so, yeah, man, we got lucky and had great volunteers and team doing this together, and just an epic night on the farm. Wow. Great weather. It was a little wet in the morning. The kitchen had 4 inches of water. It's an outdoor kitchen, guys. It's outside. Yeah. And we built this platform. We put this stonework in for the guests. But in our infinite wisdom, that held the water back towards the kitchen. And it was pouring down rain all night. So we get to the farm, and there are 4 inches of water across my kitchen. And we just had to bail it.
Sweep it out.
Just had to bail it. But it all worked out, man. It was a great time.
That's fantastic. I'm glad it went well. Today's hashtag, I guess, could be linked to the kitchen very much so. Chewy or caution.
Yeah.
Like, when in the kitchen, what is the thing that you pay most attention and caution to, be most careful about? When I did a cooking show, I saw we had these massive ovens at a school where you could have 10 trays of stuff. And one guy opened it up and the steam nearly burnt him in the face.
That.
Right?
I've done that with steaming potatoes. I've opened an oven too quickly and caught the steam, and then your nose looks like you got a sunburn.
Right.
Yeah,
there should be
dangerous.
Something there to stop that, but I guess there's no way. It's holding in all that heat for a reason. You couldn't suck it out of the back.
Steam is a dangerous one. It really, really can surprise you. Yeah. But there's so many things. One thing that comes to mind are mandolins. You ever use a mandolin or one of those slide cutters?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sometimes even grating cheese, I'm a bit worried about.
The Korean chefs, or especially Korean women in kitchens, I see older Korean women, they're fearless with that sucker. And I'm just like, don't go down to the end of that onion or that radish. It freaks me out because I just know how sharp that blade is and how fast they're moving, and one little slip,
Have you had any big accidents in the kitchen, right?
Boy, you know what? I don't think so. I've fallen before years ago.
Dear.
Yeah, because you're running around, and maybe I didn't have the best shoes on that time. But yeah, that kind of thing. I've culinary students back in the day. Some, they're 18, 19-year-old kids, and they're inexperienced, and some of them are just so accident prone. I've seen a kid in the same week. Okay, he cut off the tip of his thumb, and we had to send him to the hospital with the piece to try to have it sewed back on.
Oh, dear.
But in that same exact week, he had boiling water going. And he turns around from the boiling water and he bends down to get something, and his apron catches the pot handle.
No.
So it starts to tip, and then he turns around into the boiling water onto his face. So,
oh my God.
So his parents, I mean,
was he okay?
They might, well, he's, he had a nice, look like a birthmark across half his face for a month or so.
But it healed up.
And then the very next week he cuts his thumb off, and it's like, are your parents going to pull you out of this school? What's going on, man? But great kid and great spirit, and in the industry, you just, I mean, not with the culinary students. We're going to try to take care of them and have a lot of sympathy. But in the industry, the motivation or the drive is just to wrap it up and move on.
Keep going, right?
That's all you can do.
The kitchen is most important. Goodness. It is a hotbed for danger, I guess, kitchens with all that heat. Today's dish, talking of heat, but another type of heat, we're going spicy.
This is a bit early for this.
What are we talking about, right?
We're talking about Buljokbal. Yeah. And jokbal is trotters, so in English I would call this spicy, braised, and fired trotters.
Pig's trotters,
yes,
right?
pig's trotters. And I say fired because it might be put over charcoal, but it also is often done in a pan. The bull part, the fire part, doesn't necessarily mean it's going over the grill, but I think the best ones do go over a grill.
Yeah, you can taste that like charcoal flavor
That's
that it's been grilled. I'm guessing some places might do the shortcut in the pan and then maybe like put a bit of flame or something like flammable in there quickly.
Yeah, a torch. Yeah, sure. A lot of places do that. But the best ones, it's super famous in some of the huge markets in Seoul, especially Namdaemun, which I think every tourist that comes to Seoul goes to Namdaemun to get like little souvenirs and stuff, but there's tons of food around there too. And I mean, look at that picture. It's just sticky, sweet, a little chewy because the skin and the cartilage or the collagen in there. Yeah. Gelatin. And I mean, they're cooked for about 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So it's nice and soft and smooth. And then cut into these pieces, right?
And in Namdaemun, you'll see like just piles of it behind glass at a counter, and they're cutting up pieces. And usually if you're a tourist or a foreigner and go up and ask for a sample, they'll give you one. Yeah. And it's good stuff. What mostly you'll see there though is not this version. This version is then after the 2.5 hours, then it gets thrown in another sauce with more heat and sweet and sticky, and then put on the grill or tossed in a pan and torched.
And this one, I don't know, it seems like the past 10, 15 years has become more and more prominent. And first couple of times I had it, I think I had really spicy ones. The pul can mean fire, but it can mean a play on words to mean super spicy.
Sure.
And so I was like, oh, this is too much. But now I've found some places where it's still pretty spicy. We often talk about dishes looking red, but not being that spicy. This is one that's usually spicy.
Yeah, right? It's pretty hot.
That's the point of it. And I found some ones that I really like. So I almost prefer it to regular jokbal, which, like you said, is what's been cooked for 2.5 hours. And that's not spicy at all. And it's got a nice, like, kind of aroma to it.
Yeah, you got cinnamon and star anise. When you're near a restaurant making this, it smells amazing.
Yeah, absolutely delicious. And so the photo here is like a really good example of when it's just been cooked and it's all got caramelized as well.
And rice syrup and dark brown sugar in there. And
I don't know if it's everywhere, but even the one you've brought in, compared to regular jokbal, it's usually cut into chunkier pieces rather than like the slices, which you could get confused with like a possam cut, which is the pork belly that's been steamed or boiled or whatever. But this one is always the chunky pieces and the meatier pieces.
Yeah, that's true. You'll see it thinly sliced if it's not the fire kind or the bull kind. Yeah, and it's often served with bosam, which is also a braised pork, but that's the pork belly. Yeah, and then you've got the similar sauces here. We've got a fermented shrimp sauce and then samjang with it, and lettuce wraps.
Yeah.
That's a more tame one. It's not always considered something that you would have drinks with necessarily. Probably, but maybe not. This particular one, the fire one, is really anju, meant to be served with drinks, but it's a little early.
Yeah, for alcohol as well. And so this is how the jokbal looks before it's been cut, right?
Yeah. Yeah, those are trotters. And so when we say trotters, it's not just the foot. There's a lot of people love the foot. You know, there's a lot to kind of chew and suck on there.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of meat above that going up to kind of like elbow.
Okay.
Right?
And that's where you're getting a lot of the meatier stuff. And so, yeah, when I first heard trotters, it's a thing in the UK, pig's trotters, but not many young people growing up in my generation ate trotters.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't sound very nice. I think my grandma was a big fan, but I'd never had it. And so when someone told me pig's feet in Korea, jokbal, I was like, no, I'm okay. But when you have it and it's been thinly sliced, it does kind of resemble the bossam, which I really like, the pork belly.
So true. Yeah, there's a picture. Let's put that one up. That's the one
bossam, right?
This is the way it's served with the bossam.
Yeah.
But that's trotter.
Yeah. And so
the skin on, so you get that little chewy bit.
That's the big difference I feel with the bossam, right? With the bossam, you've got the layer of fat on the outside, but it's not that skin bit.
Right.
And that's the bit that they say is full of collagen and good for your skin and blah, blah, blah. Just like chicken's feet as well, right?
So true. Yeah, and that's why it takes 2.5 hours. You know, you can do a bossam in like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But because that skin's on there, and then all the other connective tissue and stuff in the trotters, it takes 2.5 hours to braise this sucker.
If you're as fussy as I used to be, there's a lot of like wibbly wobbly fatty bits like between.
Those are my favorite parts.
Yeah, now they're my favorite parts as well. But when I first had it, I was like, I'm a bit this is a bit difficult. But yeah, that version as well, just the jokbal, is delicious and maybe has fewer detractors because it's not spicy at all.
So true.
What we're talking about today.
And it's not super strongly flavored.
No.
You'd think it would be from the aroma from the braising liquid with the star anise, the cinnamon, the gochu karu, the red pepper flakes. There's some doenjang that goes in there, so there's that earthiness from the soybean paste. But then when you actually take a bite of just the braised ones, not the spicy version here, but just the braised ones, it's not very strongly flavored. If you go to China and have this, it looks like the same dish, maybe a little darker. It's much saltier, much sweeter. Here in Korea, it's much more tamed down. Then we go and we make this version that's not tamed down at all. You know, it's got extra sauce all over it, and then that char flavor.
Yeah, blowing your head off flavors sometimes. We'll be back in part 2 to try it. We'll show you our version in the studio. I see a few listeners have sent in some photos and messages. We'll get to those. This dish of the day, Chef Ryan in the studio talking about Buljokbal, or the pig's trotters, the spicy, fiery version. Leon getting in touch from Singapore saying, today's dish is interesting. I've never tried the spicy one before. Yet in the past, I don't know if this even existed. Like, jokbal used to be the takeaway/delivery food of choice, maybe late at night. Right, you could get it maybe with a bossam as well, like we said. So that might be a pork overload for some people, but it is delicious. And then you've sent in your version of pig's trotters from Singapore. We'll get that onto the stream here, especially in Chinese culture. I don't know if this is the one you were talking about, Ryan. It's popular and it's beneficial for postpartum recovery. The ingredients, particularly ginger, believed to help warm the body, aid digestion, replenish lost nutrients like calcium and collagen, support muscle and bone health during recovery after childbirth.
There you go. Yeah, stronger flavors than our regular jokbal here.
Yeah, but looks like it will be salty.
Yeah, but maybe not so much stronger flavors than what we're doing today with the buljokbal.
That's true.
Siska writes in, jokbal! Anyway, jokbal in Indonesia cooked not in spicy way, mostly cooked with hong sauce. Don't know the English word for this seasoning.
Hong sauce. I've not heard of that one before. Sillily saying, jokbal ought to be rare because 80% of Indonesians are Muslim, Siska. Oh, so yeah, I wonder how widespread you can get those kind of dishes, because you're right about the population makeup, I think, right? Okie dokie.
Tigger Shiro writes, so it's pig's feet. I would try it. We have pickled pig's feet. Have you ever tried those? Pickled
No.
pig? No. When I was a kid, you don't see it as often anymore. But in the American South, you might go into a convenience store and there'd be a big old jar,
And you just eat it
glass
cold.
jar of pickled feet, and you ask for one. It's only like, it was like 50 cents or
Wow.
a buck or something. We
For
were
a
talking
big,
30 years
like,
ago.
Pig's trotter? Like
Not the whole
fairly-
trotter, it's
okay.
just the foot.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, pickled pig's feet.
And you just chew on it.
You just like they give it to you in like this little pouch, almost like when you get a whole like a giant pickle or something.
Okay.
And you just like
Wow.
yeah, vinegar.
It's
And
good? Like sour?
I only remember having one once. And yeah, it's a lot of vinegar. Yeah,
Wow.
it's salty vinegar. Yeah, cheap snacks.
Yeah, in the UK it's more pickled eggs or gherkins that you might munch on.
Yeah.
I didn't like those either.
Or pickled eggs was
Yeah.
another thing that would be
No thank you. Yeah, we're gonna get on to trying this, but one more photo I see here from Siska. That
thanks,
looks
Siska.
like
Yeah.
but okay, like you saw, we have it sliced, and then we'll show you the version in a second. The bones are often given to you in there, but there's not a lot of meat left on there, right? It's not just on the bone, right?
Yeah, that's just for the folks that like to chew on them.
Yeah,
me.
and there are many people who like to get the in-betweeny bits. Siska says this is a grandpa favourite food in Indonesia, and this is the Hong sauce I was talking about. That looks like a nice kind of stewed version, doesn't it? Yeah, I think I could get on board with that. All right, why don't we get to showing what we've got in the studio and trying it out here? We've got a good camera angle today, so check that out. Oh, look at the colours. Yeah, with that kind of burnt bit on the side as well, and you're getting those deeper reds. It looks so appetizing.
So there are pieces that are more meat, and then there's other pieces that are more skin. This is a really meaty piece.
Oh yes, this is what you get only in the Buljokbal. Like with the regular jokbal, you don't get these chunky meaty bits for some reason, right? Look at that.
Yeah, and we've got some sauces, but I'm going to go in first just with it like that.
And then this bit that I've got, I'm guessing is the foot, right? You can see the kind of toast there. And
Yep.
then this is the skin on the outside. That's where the goodness is for collagen and stuff like that. And you see the garnish of like
I should have brought
sesame
some
seeds.
gloves. Usually you're given gloves at the restaurant to eat those kind of bits.
Especially the spicy ones, because you don't want to be rubbing your eyes or anything like that. I'm trying to show some other bits here. There is a collagen filled bit. And yeah, I've got to say now, like the meaty bits are nice, but if you have it with some collagen as well, then that adds so much texture and more flavor, I feel.
Okay, it's not so crazy spicy.
Okay, good. Maybe because it's colder than you had it last night, right?
Oh, it does build though.
Yeah.
And there's that nice fire. Wow.
And then we've got the samjang here, and then that's the seujot over there. Is it the prawn
Yeah, that's my favorite.
with the saltiness as
Yeah,
well?
so this I think is really important with this dish is to have this fermented shrimp sauce. And it's not just a seujot. Often there's some other ingredients in there, like a little bit of gochugaru, some red chili flakes, some garlic.
I'm going to go with a meatier bit. I'm going to give it a sniff first. Yeah, you can smell that fireness, right? The bit that's been maybe directly with a flame or some charcoal. That is a big meaty bit. And like you said, we usually have it with the lettuce sam or something like that, or the musam, the big radish that has been pickled, is it? And then thinly sliced, and then you wrap it around here. That's also really good, isn't it?
And that helps tame the spice too. The pickled radish that are in thin slices. There's plenty of sugar in that pickle. And so if you got something spicy, it balances it out.
There is definitely a spice. Like this is one that looks spicy and is spicy on the tip of my tongue. I'm not as good as spice with you. And in the morning, this waking my mouth up for sure.
Now I was a little nervous to eat this early, but I know I'm really liking it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so meaty, those bits. And so my kids love the meaty bits, and then the adults are kind of forced to chew on the bones and the collagenous bits.
Sorry, it's
And you
stuck
can see
together.
there as well, yeah. And the sesame seeds add a little bit. I didn't try it with the fermented shrimp there. How does that taste? All right. And that is a combination that we love in Korea with
it's so much
pork.
fun.
Having the tiny salted fermented shrimp, that is our saltiness if we need it, right? We don't dip pork in salt for some reason, right? That's never a thing. Oh no, I'm wrong, aren't I? At some grilled restaurants, you might get some salt to dip it in, some classier places, but traditionally we're dipping it in the fermented shrimp, right?
Well, and isn't that the contrast between, say, this style in Korea versus in China or some other parts of Asia? Is we have the salt on the side and let everybody with the braised trotters. Excuse me, my mouth's watering a lot. With the braised trotters that I've had in China, it didn't have another sauce, but it didn't really need it. It had so much flavor in them already.
Exactly.
Well,
but in Korea, you do have a variety of different things to dip it in or wrap it in, and that's right, that's what makes it kind of personal as well. You can make every bite a little bit different. And then you can see in here one of the bigger bones, so I'm assuming that's what you mean by like higher up on the leg. That's not strictly speaking a pig's trotter or a foot, right? That is the bone, taking it up there. And the collagen I used to be a bit fussy with, but it has that real nice kind of bounce and chew to it. So giving that a try is lovely as well. Oh, I want another meaty bit here. Look, there's so much. Oh wow, is that how am I going to get that? Oh my goodness, is that a big piece? Like trying to do this is like trying to win one of those dolls in the grabbing machine, because I'm looking at it from a completely wrong angle. Okay, I've just got the meat and dipping it in the samjang. And this, like Chef Ryan said, is often a drinking dish, right? You might be having it with soju or someg, the soju and beer together. In terms of like pairing it with Western alcohol, would this go well with some kind of wine or something like that? Is it a bit too spicy to do that? What would be your go-to? A beer to kind of just drown out the spiciness?
yeah, I think a beer, something fairly like a pilsner, something like that. But yeah, traditionally here it'd be soju or makgeolli. If you really wanted to,
good, yeah, that would do well.
If you really wanted to do a wine, it'd have to be like a rosé or a Sauvignon Blanc or something like that.
To kind of just melt into the background. Or okay, that's delicious. Even in the morning.
Oh, it's good though.
And it's cold. It is amazing, right?
And
I've never had it like this.
That spiciness builds. The first bite
Yeah.
wasn't burning at all, but after you have a few, it just builds up. Yeah.
Jun saying, I'd probably only go for the meaty parts. I don't like eating the collagen and the chewy parts. Yeah, I can see, and each to their own, but do give it a try because it does add something completely different. But just with the meaty parts, you'll be full up after this portion as well. How much was this, right? Do you remember?
I think 19,001.
Okay, for this portion.
So about $15 today.
So that's for about 2 people, I suppose, is what it's advertised as. Not bad at all, right?
Yeah, and you could add other things to it. You know, you could have some balsam on the side, or you could have the lettuce or all kinds of different stuff added.
Tigris says, how did so many dishes get started being paired with alcohol in Korea?
Yeah, good question.
That's because we don't drink without food in Korea, right?
Oh, that's a good point.
There's no culture of just drinking. You've got to have anju, something to eat with your alcohol. So that's why they're paired. But it doesn't mean you have to. If you don't drink alcohol, of course, you don't need to, right? You can just eat these dishes, right? It's just Koreans might be like, we usually drink with that, right?
Yeah, that reminds me of my first years in Korea. There was this bar, and the owner was like a mother to all of us, and she wanted to take care of us. But it was a bar.
Yeah.
They had some food there.
Yeah.
But she used to, at like 1 o'clock in the morning on Fridays when this place is packed, she would make a bunch of French toast or a bunch of tater tots or something and carry them around the bar and shove them into our mouths. You have to eat.
Because you're drinking too much.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
and just not charge anything for it. She really, it was a really happy moment in time in that place.
French toast and tater tots. That's not common. Well, not the French toast. Tater tots I've seen.
Not at the same time. Okay. One or the other.
We'll be back in part 3 with the recipe. You can cook this at home. I don't think any Korean people these days do, especially the Buljokbal, but we'll tell you how. After this from Chaeyoung of Twice, Shadow Puppets, Kurimja Nori. And we're back for part 3, dish of the day, with Chef Ryan in the studio talking about Buljokbal, the spicy pig's feet, and that spice really does linger on the tongue there. It's a nice spice, though.
My nose is running a little bit.
Nyan says, if Chef Ryan could get hold of Asian spices from Singapore, what would you like to choose? And maybe what would be good in this dish? Are there spices that we still find difficult to get in Korea from that part of the world, from like Southeast Asia?
Well, the quality of the spices makes a big difference. We can get just about anything here, I think, these days. But I'm sure there's better quality of each thing. Even just like Szechuan peppercorns, you know, there's so much variation in the quality of those. Or even something like the little jujus, not daechu dried, but those little ones, you know, that are often in Chinese cuisine.
Szechuan peppers, you know, we find it in a lot of cuisine now, like maratangs and stuff. Would it go well in this, in a spicy jokbal? Would it make it too spicy?
Get that little bit of numbing.
Yeah, I think maybe you'd be going overboard. For me, anyway.
Yeah.
Mata has sent in some photos here as well. Oh, that looks like a stew almost with beans
I like
in
the
it.
salad. I like that idea. Then you get those chewy bits in there.
That would be good if you like tore it off with gloves and stuff, right?
Yeah.
That would work really well. I'm not liking the cucumbers though. Stewed pig feet is also a popular dish in the Caribbean. Every island has their own version, and of course theirs is the best. Yeah, that would work in a stew. You just put it in your bowl and kind of just munch on it, and it gets a bit messy, I would assume.
Sure. Yeah, I love those chewy looking bits. Siska writes in, yes, Peter, haha, stew, one like galbichim. So she's referring to that picture. You were saying that it looked like a nice stew.
Yeah.
Next time I want to try the spicy one in Korea, but is it too spicy? I do not think this is too spicy for most people. My nose is running a little bit, but the heat's already gone. You still feeling it?
Yeah. But it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not like crazy yopki tteokbokki, bizarre tteokbokki levels. It's not up there.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned tteokbokki. Some places put tteok into this too.
I like that.
Yeah,
because that kind of tones it down a little bit. Right? Mizari says, is it boneless and is it grilled on a barbecue? Like Ryan said, some places might just do it in a pan. And I think most places, it's not like an outdoor barbecue. It might just be a grill that they have there, right? That they're doing it on. And they always include the bones, right? Even if some of the bones don't have that much meat. I think it's to show.
It makes the plate look fuller.
Exactly.
They always put those on the bottom and then pile it up on top.
You will be disappointed. Like, there are lots of bones in this thing as well at the bottom. And if you don't chew on them, you are missing out on a lot of the volume.
Treats for the dogs.
Nice.
James writes a really interesting question. And James, my man, I'm not sure if I have an answer for you, but it says, how did the salted shrimp get paired with pork in history? Seiujot, fermented shrimp sauce, and samjang, a thick spicy paste. I'd have to say it'd be jeollanamdo or jeju-do with so much fermented shrimp being used as salt.
Just for many dishes, not just for pork, I'm assuming, right?
So, almost interchangeable with salt, the way... Because you also get that depth of flavor, you know, from the fermented shrimp. So it's like, here, you could use salt, or here, you could use special salt from the fermented shrimp paste. That'd be my guess, man.
Yeah, and I don't know, like you use honey often instead of sugar, I just feel there's more depth of flavor, right, with the shrimp. You're getting all sorts of funkiness in there.
That's what makes my favorite kimchi so good, you know, using that rather than so much salt.
Okay, I really think there are very few people in Korea who are making Buljokbal at home. Maybe jokbal, but even that is more of a delivery thing or going out to eat thing, right? But if people want to do it, how hard and time consuming are we talking?
Well, you know, it's a half a day process kind of thing. We mentioned 2.5 hours or so, and it can be done. Then you got to let it cool down so that you can slice it. And then if you want to make it this way, then you have to toss it in a pan or put it on a grill with another sauce. But your first step is going to find the right trotters. And these aren't just pig's feet. If you wanted to make something, if you just found pig's feet, you could make this. You just won't have as much meat.
Yeah,
you know,
which is really the great part about this. Lots of meat.
Yeah, the trotters, it goes the foot, and there's kind of like wrist, and then up to like elbow. Okay, that's the full trotter, and it's one trotter of an average sized pig. I mean, it's going to be like probably 3, 4, 5 pounds.
Oh, wow.
You know, like 1.5 to 2 kilos, 2.5 kilos, something like that. They're pretty big.
Okay,
Lots
so
of
you
meat.
got to ask for a big portion above the trotter if you've got a butcher or something.
Right.
you can
If
go
you're
to.
in America, go to the Asian market or Chinatown kind of place and try to find that trotter. I would suggest if you're gonna do this, you might as well make a few.
Yeah.
In Korea, whenever this is made, it's made in big pots with tons of them at once. You know, just makes sense if you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna make your braising liquid. You might as well fill the pot. Right? For that braising liquid, this is important. You're going to have, of course, water, some fermented soybean paste or doenjang, a little cooking wine or mirin, soy sauce, dark brown sugar, maybe some salt, but actually, I think with the soy sauce, you really don't need more salt. Then rice syrup, that's going to give the shiny, sticky sweetness as well.
You want that.
Some ginger, definitely onion chopped up, and that's going in the water, but then you're going to make a pouch as well, or most people would do this.
Yeah.
So if you had cheesecloth or something, you could wrap these ingredients up in it.
Yeah.
And now you're going apple. Like a whole apple cubed up. The Korean dried dates or jujubes. 8, if you're doing 1 or 2 trotters, you're going to have at least like a bulb of garlic in there. Again, ginger, onion, dried red chilies is often used here.
Okay.
Or again, you could just increase the amount of gochugaru. Star anise, cinnamon stick, black peppercorns.
You
and then
taste that, right, in the pork subtly.
that's what you smell so much of when these are cooking in the restaurant. So, and then one interesting ingredient that everybody does here, you might not think of, and it's usually instant coffee but you could use just coffee grounds.
Instant coffee?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I wonder what's that, is that to catch the kind of chamne that we talk about? Maybe the smell of
You've
pork?
heard of it. You've heard of it,
Yeah, because we're quite sensitive about
That's
that,
it.
right?
That's it. Yeah, to balance that out.
Coffee would work. And then you're boiling this all together with the whole pig's trotters that maybe been cut into, I don't know, not bite-sized pieces, but big chunks with the bone in.
Yeah, if you're doing this at home, I would suggest you cover it so that you don't have to constantly be adding more water to it. Because when you're boiling anything for 2 hours, you're gonna reduce that liquid so much.
Yeah.
So at least for the first hour and a half, leave it covered.
Yeah.
And get it up to a boil with a high flame, and then you can put it down to medium. It's still going to be boiling enough, especially with it covered. Then maybe for the last hour, you could remove the cover, let that water then concentrate, that braising liquid, let it concentrate. And especially for the last 30 minutes, you want those flavors to get stronger.
Okay. And then you're done with the bosam and
Not bosam,
Buljokbal, and you need to cut it into slices.
So you
then it's
remove
ready.
that, let it cool down for 20 minutes or so, and then you put on some gloves and you can cut off the big pieces, and you have to get your hands in there and pull off other pieces and cut that up. Now you could serve that right away with the fermented shrimp sauce, samjang, some lettuce, and it's amazing. But to do this one, you make another sauce. And again, it's sweet and spicy. So garlic, red chili flakes, rice syrup, sugar. Did I already say soy sauce?
I don't know.
Yeah. Mix those up, a little bit of soju or cooking wine again. Maybe some mayshil. I love putting as a sweetener the
Plum extract.
The plum extract, right? And then toss everything in that, and then either throw it in a pan and get that pan crazy hot to where it just gets that sauce gets real sticky across all the meat. And then what a lot of folks will do is they'll take a torch and torch it while it's in the pan as well. Or put it on a charcoal grill. It's going to make a mess of your grill.
Absolutely, with all that sauce, right?
But you get a much lovelier flavor than just using a torch that way.
Thank you so much for that recipe. Not many people doing it in Korea, like we said, at home. But enjoy. Give it a try. As we said, it's spicy, but not ridiculously spicy. I can handle up to here.
I'm a big fan. This is great.
It's delicious
even at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Like in a sandwich or something, like one of those Cuban sandwiches. That would be brilliant. Thank you so much, Ryan. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next Tuesday.